Well, look, I find it astonishing that 2.5 weeks ago we were lobbying the government to follow the advice from their own experts and to have a short national circuit breaker. And that 2 week additional restrictions would have avoided a longer period of restrictions, would have not just saved lives, but also saved businesses as well. The government rejected that lobbying. Lo and behold, 3 weeks later, they are insisting on a national lockdown, which will be far worse than a 2 week lockdown. And I think it's another example of the government not getting a grip with this pandemic. Well, we saw it between March and September, school children not going to school. Many of the poorest children who haven't got access to a laptop or good ways of contacting with their teachers have lost out and lost not just months of education, but could all be put back years when it comes to academic achievement. I think schools closing down should be the very last thing that happens. We should do whatever we can to keep our schools open, and the government's got to make sure there are proper risk assessments to ensure teachers, staff, and children aren't taking unnecessary risk. But I'm really keen to make sure our schools and universities can continue to have students, getting the education they so desperately need. And that's why I'm so disappointed and angry that the government's not got a grip with the test trace system, but also the fact is that the second wave, the second lockdown, was not inevitable had the government sorted out the test trace isolate system. I'm so angry at the government announcing only yesterday the extension of the furlough scheme. I'm afraid many of those people who were furloughed until 31st of October have now been made redundant, and so this extension won't help them. Many businesses who were really struggling and were told that the support would end on the 30th of October have now gone bust, and it's too late for them. And the government's only saying the extension is until the 2nd of December. And we know, frankly speaking, all the indications are the pandemic won't have the worst behind us when it comes to 2nd of December. What the government should be doing is providing businesses, councils, and vulnerable individuals with the financial support they need. For me, this is an example of investment because it's far cheaper, putting aside the human cost, but it's far cheaper to give financial support to businesses, individuals, and councils now than have those businesses going bust, councils going bust, individuals being made redundant and losing their homes. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm flabbergasted that the government is failing to give cities and regions across the country the support they need. The government needs to realise that mayors aren't the enemy. We're not adversaries. We're on the same side trying to defeat this pandemic and support businesses across our country. What the government should be doing is not treating leaders of councils and cities with suspicion, but as allies, working together to get a grip with this virus. And I think what the government should do is to spend time listening to us because we know our areas far better than civil servants in Whitehall.